today's video, I will be talking about Audre Lorde's biomythography, Zami, A New Spelling of My Name. The book blends several genres together in order to allow the reader insights into her life. Her life is really defined so far by first her family, namely her mother, and later by the work she is doing, such as working in factories. These two vastly different power structures will rule her life and help to create her viewpoint of the world. I argue that the power structures of family and work show her understanding of the world. Because of this, she tries to push back from it by arguing with her mother, for example, arguing with her mother and by attempting to join a union when she started her factory work. These power structures define her, along with the structures within society, such as racism and gender. She internalizes all these parts and decides to push back from them consciously and unconsciously, and these power structures are always there, and they seem to control how she feels and acts. So the social structures of racism really are pushed into her face when she's growing up, especially when she goes to Washington, D.C. in Chapter 10. And the experience of being turned away from an ice cream counter forces her to see the racism that her mother always tried to protect her against. Along with this, her mother is really another power structure that controls the viewpoint of the world for her. So the isolation that she feels as a child, which can really be seen in the fact that she didn't really talk until she was 4, and she's pushed, she's taken care of mostly by her mother, and so she really sees her mother as this dominant force in her life. And she takes this and accepts it, but she also feels pushed aside and upset. And so she pushes back from this when she's a teenager by becoming friends with other misfits, because that's what she sees herself as, such as Jenny. And after high school, she moves out and cuts off communication with her family, which can be argued that it's both a conscious and unconscious decision, because she decided to move out and she decided to try and strike out on her own and become an independent person, but she also didn't need to. It's argued that she didn't need to cut off all communications with her family for years. And from there, she moves into another structure in her life, which is work. And the workplace shows how the owners cared about themselves more than the workers, which was really a first for her, because she had never really worked before, so she saw the workers being really pushed down by the owners, and this was kind of shocking for her. And one example is on page 123, when she talks about how she would be paid 90 cents, and then that would eventually get bumped up to $1.15, which was the minimum wage when she became a union worker. However, she found out that often workers were fired before they could join the union, so that the owners could save money from paying the workers more and then instead get to keep the money for themselves. So these power structures really reflect her viewpoints on life, from her mother being in charge and being the boss to having a job and the ever-present intersection of her race and gender. And so these power structures have been a part of her life, and the book really weaves this theme into her narrative as something that is always there, it's always present, she always knows about it, she always feels it in her life,